This show is brought to you by The Makery, the podcast network for makers.
Hello, and welcome to the 200th episode of Night Talk. 200 episodes. Who would have thought?
Who
that
would
very
have thought?
very first interview, and then interviewing you guys and a bunch of other people. 200, crazy. A lot of wasted time. A lot of wasted time. A lot of dick jokes, and the
Not
odd
as
bit-
much as people would have appreciated.
quite possibly, yeah. And the odd bit of knife news, the odd bit of knife talk. You know,
Right.
just a bit. So I'm drinking.
I
I'm
mean, it's a
celebrating.
Friday. I mean,
It's
is an
Friday night,
episode of
why
Night
not?
Talk.
From the
I
bottle.
mean,
Yeah.
come on! Congratulations, number one, congratulations to you, Craig, for making this happen since day one. You're the captain of the ship. You started this thing, and then you pulled us in for moderate help. And this should be your grand
I may have
celebration.
started it, but I would never have continued every week if it weren't for you guys. Mainly putting pressure on me to make sure I show up every Friday. But yeah, we've had lots of fun. We've chatted to some great people, had lots of fun. It's all been good. All been good. We'll get back to the 200th show festivities later. Mareko, what's been going on this week? Let's keep it brief. We've got a lot to go through.
Absolutely. My kid started school this week, which he was super stoked about. He's in Waldorf school, so everything's outdoors except for like going to the bathroom. And even sometimes they let the kids go pee on a bush or on a tree or something like that. And then actually, so he decided he wanted to start cooking, which is awesome.
Wow,
I love
nice.
it. So he did his favorite, which is box mac and cheese. Annie's box mac and cheese. And he did a great job. You know, my wife was there to help him but he did all the stirring and he helped with pouring out the pasta out of the water and all that kind of stuff. He had a great time. He loved it. It was a very positive experience. He was very happy with himself, which is very good because I would love for him to keep doing that. It's fun.
Yeah.
I just actually finished doing some forging on a Damascus piece, or some Damascus that I've been working on and kind of like been showing here and there on my Instagram, but haven't really kind of done a reveal yet. So I'm hoping probably not this week, but next week I'll be doing a reveal on that pattern. Just finished kind of freshening up the 3 Smith & Bard knives. They're carbon steel blades that I actually finished them last December. The goal was to have them ready for like the holiday shopping season at the end of November, but I obviously missed that, and I was like, nope, not gonna do it. So I just held on to them. So I just freshened them back up and have them ready to head out the door. And then I think the last thing, I watched the Bob Ross documentary on Netflix. And Jeff, I have a challenge for you, and that is to watch that documentary and see if your opinion about him does not change. I would be amazed because it was a very interesting story, and I think all that he had done around his painting and stuff was really, truly to try to help bring positivity into people's lives.
I'll tell you how I feel about it. One is I don't like the fact I didn't watch the documentary. And I've never bought Bob Ross paints anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm not going to stop buying them because I've already stopped buying. I never bought Bob Ross.
Call yourself an artist? Jesus.
I believe that he did some good for some people, but he, in and of itself, that style of art does not propel the creativity of man. It's the same thing as like when you buy Legos and they give you the whole kit and they tell you exactly what to do. Lego. But I'm for it. Listen, there wasn't anybody else doing it, so I give him a lot of credit for that. But I mean, I was grown up by an artist who was a bit of a snob, so it rubs off.
He didn't do much for white men with afros, I can tell you that.
I don't know. Jeff Lynne stole his shit. ELO. I mean, come on.
So you've had a busy week there, Mareko. It's all been good.
Yeah, I've been staying busy for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff, your week. What's been going on?
Mareko, I will take your challenge. I will watch the video and I'll give you an honest, unbiased opinion
Okay.
I'm generally going to side with the Bob Ross family. That's number one. I'm sure of it. So I know that there's some controversy about who owns the legacy of his estate, and I'm going to side with him. Just to let you know, but I will give you my honest opinion next week. It's been a week of knife making. It's been a week of weird, funny interactions with the Jacques Pepin family, and
Nice.
and then I'm going to tease the last of the humiliations I've suffered for my own health. So at the after show, I will tell you about my prostate exam. So we're going to tease that. That's a 200th episode tease because it is funny and it's men's health important. But I just real quick is I just sent a knife. The Jacques Pepin family told me that the knife I made him, he loved it. And they said that he really likes a smaller knife. And this is what's interesting for knife makers. Most of the time people think, especially knife makers, especially if they're not cooks, they think about what a cook needs. And a lot of times they think about the knife, how you're holding it. If you're holding it in the, regular position, or you're choked up on it in the pinch position, and you think about that, but you don't think about how you are in relative space to your counter. So Jacques Pepin, famous chef, one of the best of all time, he, on his videos, you'll notice that his countertop is over his waist, is higher on his body than normal, and then his cutting board is part of the countertop. So what he'll do is his knuckles will be over the edge of the countertop. So that means he doesn't really need to. So he's higher up than normal people. When you're in the pinch position on a chef's knife, 2-inch heel chef's knife, you're probably it's going to be a little bit harder because your shoulder is going to be on the higher side. But if your knuckles are clear, then you can use a shorter heeled knife. So he generally likes, his favorite knife is like a petty knife, like a long paring knife with like an inch and a half heel, which is, tough if you're holding it when you're worried about your knuckles to be clear. So I made him this knife and it was really cool. And they sent me these videos and pictures of him using it, and he really liked it. The funny part was, his family's awesome. His daughter Claudine and her husband Raleigh have been just incredible in terms of his legacy. He's 83, 85. I mean, he's like been at it for a long time, and they're really kind of helping build his legacy in the modern day. He was in the 50s. He was the main chef for Howard Johnson in the United States. I mean, he really, he became very famous for cooking with Julia Childs, and he's synonymous with this kind of building of public higher education for cooking. So they're really good with him. So they send me this video, and he's peeling a tomato. So he's cutting the tomato skin away with my knife, and he's concentrating, and it's like it's working great. It's looking really good, and then they're chitter chattering, and they have some guests there. I guess they have guests sometimes. They don't live together, they live far apart, and then they all come and hang out. And then all of a sudden you're hearing, and he loves the knife, and he's like intently cutting the tomato. And then, like most people who think that they're funny, one of the guests who was not there, them, started saying, well, who made the knife? And then, one of the family members, so no, his name's Jeff Federer. And he goes, Jeff Federer. And here's the time, I've heard this before, and this is also like the moment of, you can almost hear the cogs churning in this person's, mind, that they're about to be hilarious. And they said, I wonder if he's related to Roger Federer. Oh my God.
I thought they were like, is that the guy with the manky fingers?
God damn. That would have been better. See, if it was a funny joke, it would have been better. But I mean, it's like, some people can't control themselves. Yeah. They can't control themselves. So I'm just like, I'm looking at this video and I'm like, what the fuck can I do with this fucking thing? Because it's like this shitty joke at the end. It's like, why do you have to? Why don't you just? And then they sent it to me, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I going to do with this shitty Roger Federer joke? So that was my story.
What the fuck you going to do?
Voice over there.
It was so annoying because it was just like, How many times would you get a video of like one of the most famous chefs on the planet using your knife, and then all of a sudden it's like, here comes the shittiest joke I can think of. Let me say it and spoil the whole video. It's like, not funny at all.
No.
So
People want their little slice of just
It's
to be
fine.
recognized, to be noticed, I suppose.
it's fine. I bitched to Tony about it for a while, and Tony thought it was funny. So we always get these like these great opportunities come, and then it's always something that's completely annoyed me. So
Yeah.
but that's it.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? So my week, whilst we're talking about cutting videos, my little Molly, 2 years old, cut the mushrooms for bolognese for us this week. And I know people can say mushrooms and bolognese, but hey, she's 2 years old. She cut them. I'm going to put them in. Knife skills, total knife skills on the girl. Amazing stuff. But they're in school. They're in week 2 now, and they're slowly getting better each morning. They've been crying every morning, but we're slowly getting there. Knife-wise, I've got my 100 knives ready. These are going to be launched on Monday, by the way. They were going to launch today, but they're definitely being launched on Monday. I've taken the pictures. I just need to process them a little bit. So if everybody's looking, this is the H folder.
Sweet.
Which is it's a classic pen knife, but it's got a bit of a beef to it, and I love the noise. I love it.
That's called the walking and talking.
That's the walking and talking. So that's on Monday. They'll be released. The first 20 sold are going to be numbered as well. So if you're one of the first 20, you can have a numbered edition. And I've heard maybe Knife Talk 10 could work for our listeners.
Get
maybe
outta
it
here.
could work.
Don't do it.
Maybe.
Don't do it. Like a
Knife
painful
Talk
price.
10. I'm going to get Brian to do an ad for me. Knife Talk 10. What else? Today, I had the opportunity to play a 150 grand guitar, which was just like the best.
whoa.
So we've got a gig coming up, which is next Friday, which I need to speak to you guys. But maybe next week we need to change the day that we're recording. But we're playing with another band, and who are locally, and it's their first gig too. And we were like, okay. So I said, well, let's get together. We can work out what kit we've got. There's no point in both setting up our full kit. So he said, fine, come around to my studio. And I'm thinking he means, like this, a little studio. Oh, no. He's got a full stage set up. He's got lighting rigs, smoke rigs. He's got it all.
Oh boy.
And he had about £500,000 worth of guitars.
Oh my god.
Like, and I was just
Jeez.
like, what? All these like vintage Les Pauls, like 57 Les Paul and all that. And it was just incredible. So yeah, so that's been like a massive highlight of my week. It was really cool. But yeah, let's get back to our 200th episode of Knife Talk. Time to celebrate. We do have a guest today.
Really?
Can you guess who it is, Jeff?
It's
It's not your new buddy, Jimmy DeResta, who, by the way, I heard that interview today was very, very good on Full Blast. Very good.
Is it? You tell me.
I can do better than that. I can show you.
Look who it is.
Hello, darling.
Bingle. Bingle Ferguson.
And he's on the
Happy
sauce.
200.
Ferguson.
We brought a little pink fizz to the occasion, sweetie.
Holy shit! Look, he's drinking too. That's what they do over there in Europe. I mean, in the UK. I mean, in Europe or whatever the hell you guys are.
Exactly. We
Kim
just do it in
Kardashian.
style.
Matt
We
the
just do it in
Wangle thinks
style.
it's Kim Kardashian.
Good health.
Welcome to the show, Fingal.
Thank you for
What's
having
this,
me.
third or fourth time?
Yes, if we're not doing the full blast, yeah, third.
You're basically a co-host now. You're a co-host. So I was thinking, I can't do next Friday, so maybe Fingal just steps in for me. It's fine. It's absolutely fine.
There'll be no gimmicks and buttons pressed, I'm sure.
We're going to have a fun show. I'm pretty sure of it. So we've got some questions. We've got some user feedback. We've got dilemmas. Shall we go straight in with the dilemma, Jeff? Because now we've got 3 of us. Now we've got a... It'll be slightly different this time.
Dilemma is, when are you going to put the ads in? That's the real dilemma.
Oh, always thinking about the money, like the money shot.
Fuck's sake.
Okay. First one is...
Knife Talk is sponsored by Even Heat, the manufacturers of the finest heat treat ovens available. To find your next oven, go to evenheat-kiln.com.
Okay, this is championship Craig's favorite.
Oh. We may have a quiz. We may have a
What?
quiz. Shall we jump straight in with a quiz? I think maybe we
Sure.
should. This one is themed, and we've got 3 guests now as well. This is themed on The Price is Right. So I'm thinking you guys, big shot podcasters now. Geoff with his 2 podcasts. Mareko's been doing this for years with us. You guys are probably out of touch with the real world now, I'd imagine. You know,
Yeah.
driving around in your Ferraris and, you know, we know what it's like. Signing knives for customers and so on. So I'm going to see how in touch with the world you really are. So do you have a phone with you or a pen and a bit of paper? Just something you can take a note of something on?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anything will do. Anything you can take a note on.
Okay.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Price is Right. 7 questions. I'm gonna ask for the price of something, and whoever's closest gets the point. Simple as that.
Okay.
So let's see how out of touch you are.
What currency?
Which country?
What currency? What currency?
Oh,
Euro,
these are
dollar?
dollars, I'm afraid. So this is US.
Okay.
US.
Fingal knows all about dollars. There's nobody. I think Fingal knows more about dollars than I do.
Well, I think Fingal will know more about this first one than you two anyway. How much is a gallon of milk in Walmart? So a gallon, 128 fluid ounces in Walmart. How much is a gallon of milk? Or do you simply
Is that
just
the
send
watered
your...
down shit that they kind of get, or is this the good high end
It's
milk?
Oh yeah.
allegedly full fat, full fat rather, full flat. Yeah. But I'm just
and
wondering
not
whether,
organic.
whether
How many
Mareko and
liters
Geoff
in how
send
many
their
liters
staff
in a
out.
gallon? And shit.
Not organic. We're talking straight.
Straight up
Whole
Walmart
milk.
cheap
All right.
cheap white sauce.
I only go to Whole Foods, by the way. This is.
Oh right, of course.
Okay.
I send my staff to Whole Foods for me. I would
I know. Whole Foods. You know what they call Whole Foods? Whole paycheck.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. If you're in the chat, please don't give it. Actually, you can. You can give an answer to these ones if you like. How much is a gallon of milk in Walmart? And that was priced today. I'll then go on to question number 2.
Okay. We're writing it. Oh no.
If
we're
you
not
can write it
holding
down,
up.
so there's no cheating. No cheating.
Okay. All right. Just lost my pen. Hold on one second. Just talk for a second.
Sure.
Must have sat on it.
Matt the Wangle has said, Fingal says, oh, you poor peasants and your Walmart. We do actually have a version of Walmart, well, in the UK. They own Asda, which is like the big supermarket brand there as well, which is our version of Walmart.
Super value.
Okay.
And
Super
Sintra
value.
and Dunn stores.
Okay,
Ready when
gallon
you
of
are.
milk in Walmart, which is 128 fluid ounces, apparently. The complete opposite end of the scale. How much is the cheapest Tesla available today on the website? A brand new, completely standard, as it comes, no extras. The cheapest Tesla, which is a Model 3 Tesla, by the way.
Right.
Again, in dollars.
This is the common man's purchase, right?
This is the
that what
common
you're
man's,
saying?
yeah. You
Yeah,
pop out
this
for
is
your
the
milk
Walmart.
in the
Yeah.
Tesla, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay.
The Walmart Tesla.
We've got
Right.
7 questions here, by the way.
Okay.
Number 3. How much is a single Bitcoin worth? And I'm pretty sure the value has changed massively since I looked an hour ago.
boy.
In dollars, a single whole Bitcoin.
Okay.
Okay.
The value
No problem.
an hour ago, which was very different 3 days ago, by the way. Very, very different 3 days ago.
Okay.
An hour ago. Number 4. How much is a Big Mac currently in McDonald's? Not the full meal, just the sandwich, completely standard.
Le Big Mac.
Le Big Mac. Oui.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm checking my mind. Okay. Okay.
And again, the complete opposite end of the scale. How much is a 32-ounce prime ribeye at the famous St. Elmo's Steakhouse?
Holy shit.
Where's St. Elmo's
32-ounce
Steakhouse?
prime ribeye.
32 ounces?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where's that place?
Indianapolis.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It's going to be a lot cheaper then.
Yeah, it's not New York prices, I'm sure, but 32-ounce prime ribeye.
32-ounce prime ribeye.
I googled the most famous
We'll
restaurants
say-
in the US, and this was come up as number 2, and I'd never heard of it. St. Elmo's
Okay.
Steakhouse.
Okay.
Okay, number 6. If I wanted a one-way flight from JFK, New York, to London Heathrow today, what's the cheapest price I could get that for today?
One way, not
One way.
one way. Okay.
Just
Why would you want to go
Okay.
back? Let's face it. One way.
All right, Jacob Norris. I apologize for making that joke about Indianapolis. I know it's not cheap. I'm making a joke. Calm down. Indianapolis, I'm with you. Relax. Canadians are after me too. It's fine.
Okay, last question. Then we'll go on to something else, and we may come back for another round of a quiz later.
Okay.
This isn't in dollars. This is in seconds.
Okay.
How many seconds of audio have we recorded since episode 1? Seconds
Jesus
of audio.
Christ.
is that number
Whoever's
8?
closest gets the
Or is
point.
that-
Fast maths.
All right, pencils down.
Okay, pencils down. I like
I
it.
don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. Let's start at the top. How much is a gallon
Okay.
of milk worth in Walmart? Let's start with Jeff.
I said $3.99.
Mareko,
I
where you
said
going?
$2.99.
Fingal.
I said 250.
Mareko was the closest. 261.
Damn, cheap Walmart milk. That's some white water is what that is.
It is. Yeah.
Damn.
A gallon
Damn.
for $2.61.
Gallon.
Jeez.
Damn. Cheap ass milk right there. I mean, I can't even buy the box. I can't even buy the cardboard box for
No.
$2.69.
No.
Go ahead.
I can see Fingal visibly shaking.
Yeah, I know. He's
Absolutely fuming.
He's like, I pay $5 a gallon for that goddamn milk for the goddamn
I
cheese."
steal that shit free every day.
Yeah.
Straight from the
Suckles from the teat every morning.
warm from the teeth.
Give me that hot milk.
Ah. 261 is 299 the closest. Yes, it was. So that was Mareko. One question, 1 point. Okay.
Yay.
How much is the cheapest Tesla, which is the standard Model 3, currently on the US Tesla website? Let's start with Fingal this time.
I have no idea, so I said something like 75,000.
Mareko.
I said 60,000. And Jeff
Jeffrey.
is changing his answers right now.
I said I did not change my answer. I said 70,000.
Well, Mareko gets the point again, but you're all way wrong. It's far cheaper than you'd expect. It is 34,190.
Really?
It's base model, Model 3, standard model.
Mareko's in touch. He's completely in touch.
He is. He knows the
We're out
milk,
of touch.
he knows the
I was
Fingal and
only
I are out
off
of
by
touch.
like $26,000.
Yeah,
Do you have a
still-
south-facing roof?
Okay, number 3. A single Bitcoin is currently worth, when I say currently, this was an hour ago. Its value in dollars an hour ago. Let's start with Mareko this time.
Okay, I said $32,000.
Jeff.
I said $42,000.
Fingal.
I said 5.
Oh wow!
No
I'll buy
idea
a
what
bunch
Bitcoin
off you if you've got if you're selling them for 5. Jeez. Jeff wins the point. 45,512
Ooh,
and
boy.
20 cents. Whew. And literally 2 days ago, it was probably worth another 15 grand on top of that. But it's gone up and down
really?
very quickly. Yes.
You made some,
volatile.
we're already ahead. We're finally ahead. We're ahead
Yeah.
by not a lot. Okay.
How much is a Big Mac in McDonald's in the US? Just the sandwich, not the meal. Fingal.
Plucking figures $3.
Jeff.
$1.99.
Mareko.
I said $3.69.
Oh, $3.99. Mareko wins the prize.
Damn, Mareko.
Wow.
You're completely in touch. You got 3 out of it. $3.99
tell you-
seems expensive considering it's more than a
I've been
gallon of
watching
milk at
Prices
Walmart.
Right since before I could walk.
You can win this toaster and the 7 crystal glasses.
I know.
Yeah. Or a speedboat between 2 families, which is always best.
So this is so Fingal and I really need to step it up if we're going to win this.
You do. You do.
Now it's like
I mean, this is only round 1. There may be more rounds.
okay.
But you may be
Okay,
more
okay.
favorable in other rounds. Who knows?
okay.
32-ounce prime ribeye at the famous, really famous, St. Elmo's Steakhouse is Mareko.
$95.
Jeff.
$50.
Fingal.
$25.
Damn, I want to go to that restaurant.
Mareko, you win again. $107.
Fuck! Look at you.
He's
Look
a
at
man
you
of the
and
people.
Look at Indianapolis. My God, you really are taking it all away. 4 in a row.
Right. It's 4 points to Mareko, 1 to Jeff, and 0 to Fingal, which is understandable. This is sort of Americans, focused. I suppose.
$100 steak. Jeez.
$107. 32 ounce though. It's a fair size.
That's a share steak.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe. If I wanted a one-way flight from JFK to London Heathrow today, what would be the cheapest price I'd be able to find? This was the cheapest price on the internet for a flight. JFK to Heathrow. Mareko.
$375.
Fingal.
250.
Oh my God. You guys are like flying. I said $700.
One way?
One way.
Yeah.
So wait, that you
The
said
cheapest-
700.
The cheapest flight though. That's the.
You said 7. And what did you say, Mareko?
$375.
375. Mareko wins.
Oh my God. This is unbelievable. It's got 5 in a row.
No. Sorry, Jeff wins. It's 579.
Yeah.
Jeff is closest.
There you go.
Yeah, Jeff is closest.
One.
Just.
I'm paying too much for my airplane tickets.
Yeah. Well, you guys do, don't you? You pay a lot for flights over there.
Well, when you fly business class,
Yes, yeah.
pretty
It's
penny.
none of your business class. It's none of your business class. I love it too.
Man, that free
For
champagne.
him and his
costs
minions.
Yeah. Free.
Okay, last question, then we'll get on to some knife-related stuff, maybe. How many seconds of audio have we recorded since episode 1? And we'll ask people in the chat as well. What do you think? How many seconds of audio since episode 1? Mareko, what are we thinking?
money. I said 22,000.
Fingal, what are we thinking?
I think we're like 1,444,000 seconds. Something like that.
Hell of a difference there. Jeff.
I said 100,000 seconds.
Fingal wins the point. Fingal wins the point.
Yes!
This is how many seconds of quality entertainment we've polluted the internet with. 1 million.
I take it using a calculator is allowed, though, isn't it? Googling.
Yeah,
is,
of course.
okay.
Yeah. 1,296,480.
Wow.
That's a lot of seconds of
Jeez
lost
Louise.
time. Right. Okay.
Well, let's
we
Mareko's
have
round then.
Mareko in the lead with 4 points. Jeff with 2. Fingal with 1. Stay tuned. There may be more. Jeff, do we have any? What are we going to do? Some dilemmas. Dilemmas would be good.
Yes, this is the tough scenario segment that has become very popular. This is tough scenarios that are given that we are to answer honestly and not phony. The first one comes from Stone Ridge Metalwork. Hey, Knife Talk, congratulations on 200 episodes. I'm currently in the predicament that I can use some help. He's in the predicament. We're going to help him out. I have a ridiculous amount of homework that needs to be done, but I also have a fresh billet of Damascus, some bronze, and some sweet carbon fiber that needs to become a knife. As you can see, there's the obvious answer. Make the knife, right? But is it worth it just to put it off to do mindless homework? Thanks for keeping it real, y'all.
Carbon
So should he
fiber.
do
you
his
say?
homework?
Well, carbon
That's what
fiber.
he
We've got an expert here who can help with that. Aaron, you've used carbon fiber in the
Aaron.
past, surely.
No, actually.
Oh, well, see you later then. So,
Oh my God! I can't believe you. Listen to me. I invited. That was Aaron Geoff for a second.
I
Oh, he's
apologize.
back.
Aaron.
Thank God.
Jeff
And
promised
this
me
one-
Craig wasn't going to give me the hook.
I listen to me. For the listeners of the podcast, we now have Fingal Ferguson and Aaron Geoff. I invited Aaron to come on today, and the email he sent me back was, "I wonder how fast it will take Craig to give me the hook." And get rid of me.
Word. You just said no.
I
He was
wrote-
gone.
I wrote back, "He will not give you the hook." And as soon as you gave him the hook, I was like, man, he's making me look bad. Making me look bad.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
That was like way faster than I was expecting. Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing good,
Aaron.
mate. Sorry, my shop is very noisy. I'm in the corridor. I couldn't find like a microphone in my shop to join you guys, so I'm on my phone in the corridor.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Jeff, tell us the dilemma again, and maybe Aaron can go first.
Okay, so the dilemma is Stone Ridge Metalworks is in school, and he has got a predicament. He's got a lot of homework to do, but he also has a billet of Damascus, some carbon fiber, and some bronze, and he feels like he has to make the knife. What should he do? Do his schoolwork and his homework, or make the knife?
Can you do both, or is it just one or the other?
I mean, he's asking a question. I don't know. I don't know, man. Answer the question. I mean, how hard? He's gonna give you the hook again if you start asking too many questions.
I'll just make the fucking knife. Have some fun.
All right, there you go. There's the answer. For
Fuck
that.
school. It never did good for anybody, you know?
Quite true. Quite true. Mareko, what you doing? Are you doing your homework, or are you making the knife?
I would channel Jeff Fader, who I think would say show some discipline and get your damn schoolwork done, and then earn the chance to go finish that damn knife.
This is a good answer.
It's far too sensible.
Yeah.
That's not good podcasting. You have to be controversial.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why you're here.
I'm here for the
Fingal,
swearing.
what are you doing? Are you doing your homework? Or I mean, you've got young
I think-
kids. What
Yeah, yeah.
are you
I
advising
think,
them to
I
do?
think the young Fingal would have been doing his homework really itchy, but I think older, more mature Fingal would have said, "Never put forward a job you can do today." You know, like I have to
Get it
admit,
done.
I think get it done.
Yeah, yeah. I think we live in the modern age where we've got the internet. That homework can be done. You can Google answers. You can get that homework done in minutes. Get the homework done and get the knife made. That's what I say. Yeah. Jeff, are you going all
Makes
sensible
sense.
on us?
Yeah, then making the knife should be your prize. So getting your homework done so you can get to the prize is where it's going to be. All right, so that was an easy warm-up question. The next one comes from Jake Norris, who's actually in the chat. If you're listening to the Knife Talk and you want to join us, you can go on YouTube Live on Friday afternoons. We usually send if you follow us on Instagram, we usually do a thing, and then you can join the chat. So Jake Norris says, here's your tough situation. You're offered a pill that will eliminate your need for sleep, but it would take 5 years off your life. Do you take it?
Yes.
You could work through the night. All right. You could work through the night. Jesus Christ, calm down, Aaron. Jesus Christ. You could work through the night, allowing more time with the family throughout the day, but is it worth the cost?
Aaron's a yes. He's taking the pill.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't give a fuck about those 5 years
No
anyway.
way.
Those are the worst 5 years. Maybe
They
let's
would've
make it
been
10
super-
years. Let's make it 10 years.
10 years. Oh,
Make it 10 years.
Maybe that changes.
Are they at 10 healthy years, or are you like sickly and frail? You know.
I mean, you pick your 10 year. I mean, whatever. I mean, 10 years is 10 years.
We're all knife makers sucking down dust and stuff. I think they're going to be sickly and frail. Let's trade in that 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I enjoy sleep. I know you don't know sleep, but I love, that feeling of falling asleep, and I love it. So it's a big joy of my life. So why would I want to give that up? No way. Yeah. Keep sleeping. Keep trucking. That's what I say. Mareko, where you going?
I second that. I need my sleep. I need sleep too much. What about
Fingal.
I don't sleep much anyway.
I thought you
and
were asleep then for a second.
No, I don't sleep much anyway, so I suppose the thing is I get so much done during the day. I think you kind of need that time to stop. Otherwise, your head, it'll explode. I mean, you don't need the need to sleep, but you need the time to switch off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I
yeah.
also think sleep helps me with it. Let's say if I'm doing something and I may be stuck on it, or, I'm struggling with it, or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be knife making. It could be, trying to learn a song. It could be whatever it is. I find after a sleep, the next day I can generally crack it much, much quicker. So I think maybe that sleep, something's happening in my brain where I'm actually learning while I sleep. So yeah, sleep all day for me.
Do you guys work better in the morning or late at night?
I'm shit in the morning.
Yeah,
I
me
wish
too.
I wish I was better in the morning, but like it's yeah.
So how late do you work? What's the latest you'll work at night?
Now, what kind of work? Physical, hands-on, or do the
Like
computer shit?
knife.
In the
This
evening?
is knife talk. This isn't. We're back with cow. We're not with cow talk. This is. I mean, I know you're milking them cows. It's first thing in the morning. You got to get that.
I mean, the bull
2.99
seaman
milk.
work is his favorite job, which is evenings normally after maybe after a few drinks, you know.
That's your lifter. That's your little booster there.
But I mean, how late do you guys mind working before you're just like, this is a bad idea?
I do a lot of jobs when kids go to bed, so you find yourself in a little thing where you're going until 1 o'clock sometimes. But that's stuff you can do at home, computers and wrapping knives and all that kind of stuff. Physical stuff I do from morning until 6.
Yeah. Since having children, things have changed massively. So, trying to spend as much time with them as possible. So we generally put them to bed at 7:30, and then no work really, and unless it's a Friday and I do the show. Generally from 7:30 p.m. That's it. It's myself and my wife. That's it. Trying to spend more sort of quality time. But before kids, it was a case of working ridiculous hours, and enjoying it. That sort of flow state where you don't really know what the time is, and before you know, you do look and it's sort of 3-4 a.m. But I haven't had that for a long time, unfortunately.
I think if my workshop was back at home, if you could literally walk next door into your workshop, I'd probably find myself doing more hands-on stuff into the night, because those compulsive urges to do something, that little thing, would definitely make me do some nighttime stuff. And if I was doing that, then I'd probably be 3 o'clock in the morning. The fact that
really
the workshop is, down at the bottom of the hill and the farm and yada yada, and it's not on the premises, then I find myself now doing this stuff where you just fall asleep in front of the computer because you're uploading pictures.
Yeah. You don't have to saddle up the donkey and take the trek down the hill.
Oh, if you're posh, if you have a donkey, yeah.
Mareko, do you tend to work late at night?
I used to before my son, and actually when my wife and I first were dating, she was actually teaching abroad in Korea, and so for the first year, I was working sometimes, often until midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, especially before shows. Is when I have a tendency, especially if I'm trying to get stuff together to take to a show, I'll sometimes be up until 3-4 o'clock in the morning, just doing the last little fiddly bits, which is terrible. I don't recommend that, but ideally, I like to try to get. I really like the shift that I've made in my life in trying to get work done in first thing in the morning. I'm especially most productive. My back feels the best kind of first thing in the morning. And then as say I'm grinding a bunch of knives or just doing a lot of standing at the grinder, once my back starts to get stiff, I kind of try to transition to something else that doesn't require standing at the grinder. So I'll maybe transition to forging or doing computer work, or I don't know what else, but just try to mix it up. But I'm actually better these days at the start of the day till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I have to kind of change things up.
Yeah.
Aaron, you work late at night, don't you?
Not anymore, because in my new shop, I actually have a neighbor that lives next to me. So I had to kind of rein it in after that.
I've always had a problem. Sorry, you were saying?
Well, I was just going to say, I'm planning to move outside the city, and 100% I'm going to be in the shop late at that point. Probably my ideal hours are 11 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. When I was in college and we were the night before a big critique, and we would do, all the art students would do all-nighters. I hated it. I hated being up late. I hated the way I felt. I hated the next morning trying to get a couple hours of sleep before, a couple minutes of sleep before the class. I fucking hated it to the point where I hate working physical labor late. I mean, I'm going to be doing the maker camp with my friends, and we're going to probably work through the night, but it's more like fun. But when you have these deadlines hanging over you, and it changes your time frame in regards to how you normally work. I start to physically kind of like really draw down. I get like itchy. Funny story is my last shop, my boss used to ask me to stay late. And I said, well, just get ready. Because after 6 o'clock, I start farting. And it's true. Like I would have it's true. I would have gas. I would have like extra gas when I stay late at the shop. And I was just like, just letting you know, you'll have me stay late. It's going to be like, I'm going to be crop dusting all you motherfuckers.
Cooking events.
It's not, I didn't touch a thing. It must be that time. We've got 4 of you for the quiz.
Or something.
Quiz. Are you in, Aaron?
Sure, and then I have to get back to work, you know?
Okay, this is the music round. There's 5 questions. We shall be quick.
Oh, shit.
Right. First one is, we talked about documentaries you'd seen at the beginning of the show. I watched the Metallica documentary, which is years old this week, and I loved it. So the first question is, a point for every current member of Metallica.
Oh. Can we just do first names?
Yeah, yes, go on, yes, yeah.
I get my children's names wrong. I'm like,
Okay, Fergus. Okay. Point for every current member of Metallica. And I got a funny feeling Aaron could probably tell us the previous members too.
I just heard them on Howard Stern yesterday with Miley Cyrus.
She's not in the band. Definitely.
She was the front man for one of the songs last night. It was great.
Really? Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I got 3 of them.
Okay. Point for each.
Do we just jump in, or are we taking our
No.
turns?
Oh, you need to. Oh, if you don't write them down, we'll come to you, Aaron, first. If you haven't got a pen handy. Okay. It's Grateful Knife spoiling the show, luck. Don't look in the comments, guys. Don't look in the comments.
yes.
Grateful Knives.
Buddy.
How dare you?
Are we
sir.
not looking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's Dave Grohl. It's
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. What's the next question, Dave Grohl? Go ahead.
Okay, this is a difficult one. This shows how out of touch we all are. The current #1 song in the Billboard chart Hot 100 in the US. Who is that?
Oh, for fuck! We have to the person or the song?
Either. I don't think any of us would have a chance with this.
Can you say it one more time?
The current #1 song in the Billboard Hot 100 chart. So it's a single.
Siri, what is the name of?
Okay, next one. Who wrote and performed the Friends theme tune? We all know the song. Who wrote and performed it? And it was written at the end of every show, and we've all seen a million episodes of Friends, I'm sure. So you should know it. Straight on to the next. The biggest selling album of all time. All time. And I can tell you, it was 67 million copies of the physical album. None of these download shit.
Wow.
This was physical album.
67 million.
67 million.
Wow.
Matt the Wangle's getting cute.
I love that Matt the Wangle has changed his name to Matt the Wangle.
Matt the Wangle, yeah. We've had a few with it. 200 shows. We've had a few of those name mispronunciations, and they've stuck. So Matthew
stuck.
Angle is now Matt the Wangle. Yeah.
He's given in.
Yeah. Okay, and the last question for this music round is: this is one for any musicians out there.
Like me.
John Lennon's
say it like you.
famous "Imagine" is played in what key?
Oh, come on.
Fuck's sake.
This
You
is
don't have
just
many
great
options, to be
off
fair.
by knowing the chances.
It's
The-
making
the
sure you know
original.
one of the letters is a key.
Yeah, none of these pop idol versions. I mean the original version by John Lennon. Okay, let's go straight to it. A point for every current member of Metallica. Jeff, go on. You've been listening to them this
I
week.
said Lars, Robert, that's the bassist, James,
Yes.
and Kirk. I got 4.
Correct. A point for each.
They were on
Damn,
Howard
dude.
Stern yesterday. The 30th anniversary of 30th anniversary of
three,
the
4.
album, right?
The album, yeah,
What
the
was
album. We know the
was
album.
the Black Album? What's it called?
Was it called Panic or something? No, Trauma or something like that. I think, wasn't it? I don't know.
I don't remember.
But anyway, yeah, those are the 4: James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and then they had that bass player Robert Trujillo. And yeah, that documentary which I watched this week. So that the bass player, he did one of the auditions. They had like open auditions. Anybody could come and audition to play for Metallica, and this guy was a huge fan. They gave him the job. They sat him down. They said, right, first of all, you're now in Metallica. Secondly, we're writing you a check for $1 million now, just so you know what it feels like to be a rock star. And you know, you're a valued member of the band, so you get all future sort of royalties as well. Can you imagine
Wow.
that day? That's
Didn't they have a thing where you had to clock in? I thought that was an interesting.
had like a-
psychology. You had to literally walk in and go ka-chink.
Yeah,
and
they had
clock
like
in.
a HQ there, and they'd
You're here to
literally go
work.
9 to 5. Yeah. Yeah, crazy. But it's
And
an amazing
the
documentary,
shrink
by the
was
way.
an interesting touch as well. I think that would be the.
Yes, they had a shrink there virtually all the time. Yeah. Difficult watch, that documentary, but it's good. Current number. Oh, sorry, Jeff, you had 4. Mareko, how many did you have?
I only had Lars, James, and Kirk.
3. Okay.
Nope.
Fingal,
3.
3. Who did you have?
Kirk, James, Lars.
Yeah, right. So you just changed the order, basically. Yeah. Where are we? Yeah. Aaron. Sorry.
I only had 2. I just had Kirk and James, and apparently I'm no kind of metal fan over here.
Ah, wow. I'm surprised.
Oh, you are a fan of metal, just a different kind of metal.
Yes, Metallica's.
I thought, Aaron, you had a bit of a background with metal music. I thought that was your thing.
Yeah, Metallica's too soft though.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll stop wearing black when they invented darker color.
Yeah. Okay, that was the music round. No, we haven't had. Sorry, I've had a little bit of wine, as you may be able to tell. The next question was the current #1 song in the Billboard Hot 100. Any guesses? Anybody?
It's got to be Bieber. It's got to be some sort of Bieber. The Biebs.
It's not. It's BTS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a bowel condition.
It does. Oh, I've got the BTS. Oh, jeez.
Aren't they
And
a
the song
K-pop
is
group?
called Butter. Apparently, who knew? Anybody have that?
No.
Lots of butter. Lots of butter.
Lots
Catholic
of
amount
butter.
of butter.
Yes. Who wrote and performed the Friends theme tune? Mareko. Any idea?
Was it the Gin Blossoms?
No. Aaron. Any idea?
No idea, man.
It has something to do with a fruit. That's the only thing. I don't know why I think
It
this is.
certainly is.
It's a fruit on a tree or some fucking the lemon trees or something like that.
It is a fruit.
Jeff. Any idea?
I said the Romantics.
Ooh, close it was. And Jacob Norris in the chat has it. It is the Rembrandts.
Oh, okay. No fruit
Yeah.
in a tree.
Yeah. And you know, Adam Davis just made a point in the chat. Too bad it's not Knife Talk from Drake's new album. And it's the actual song title. So, yeah. So Drake, who's this huge, like, rapper in the US, released a single called Knife Talk this week. So
He's
all of a
from-
sudden,
he's from
our search
Toronto.
rankings, if we put Knife Talk in, we always used to come up first. Now we're in, like, page 117 or something like that. It's all this really crappy song as well.
But he's from Aaron's hometown. He's from Toronto.
He is.
He's from the 6.
Really?
He's from the 6. Do you call it the 6? When you go to work, are you going to the 6?
I'm not that cool.
Okay.
But yeah, the show that he was on Degrassi was actually filmed on Degrassi Street, which is just down the street from my shop.
Oh wow. So that's where you must have heard about the show Knife Talk, and you thought, right, I'm gonna rap about those guys, and made this really crappy song which he released this week. Yeah, but yeah,
You can also tell the average age of your co-hosts because Craig felt the need to explain who Drake is.
Well, Fingal's thinking that's a duck.
Yeah,
What's
but
a duck doing rapping?
You also said Justin Bieber for the last question, so don't say you're so young, for Christ's sake. Bieber's like in a wheelchair by now.
No, Beeps is hot again.
Yeah.
Okay, biggest selling album of all time with 67 million physical copies sold. Any
I'm going to take a stab at this.
Go for it.
I think it was Michael Jackson, right?
With
Thriller?
correct. Mareko gets a point for the dance, without a doubt. So Aaron gets a point. Did you guys have it at all? I can't
Thriller.
see.
Yep.
Thriller.
I
Fingal?
had Beatles.
Ooh. The best of the Beatles. Mareko and Geoff. No, okay, just making a point. Surely Wings sold more than the Beatles. They're the band the Beatles could have been. John
Did you see
Lennon.
what
John
Jacob
Lennon's-
Norris posted in the chat?
What was that, sorry? Jacob Norris.
I heard the Drake song, and I think I'd rather take a banana in the tailpipe than listen to it again.
Just the one? Just the one? Eight we agreed on. John Lennon's Imagine is played in what key for the original? Any guesses?
G.
I
Anybody
said
else?
E.
No.
F.
No.
Is it C?
It's C.
C sharp.
Correct. It's C major. So no points there, unfortunately.
Damn it. I almost
So
said C.
at the end of round 2, Mareko has 8. Geoff has 7. And Fingal has 5. 8, 7, 5. And Aaron
That's a
comes
close
straight
race.
in with 3.
Yes, Wooden Spoon Award.
There we go. Yako says E flat. No, I'm pretty sure it's C. Pretty sure it's C. Any more dilemmas, Jeffrey?
I do have some dilemmas, but I don't know if you know a fast dilemma. Aaron's got to go. I don't know if you have to go now or.
Last dilemma sounds good, Jeff.
A fast dilemma.
Okay. This one comes from Paul Emile Francois. Would you rather find a solution to global warming, but nobody knows it's you, or for everyone to know you found one, but it only ends 100 years after your death? Does that make sense? So
So you'd have
find
the fame
the-
for 100 years.
No, well, you wouldn't have the fame. You're dead. You know, it's 100 years in the future.
Okay, I'll go first. You'd do it anonymously. You'd save the world. Of course. Of course. I'd
such
know.
a
I'd be a
great-
superhero in my own mind. I'd know. That's enough
I
for
think
me.
I think the only answer is whatever makes it right for your children, like in that for future generations.
Look at you. Look at you.
Everyone's being wholesome, so I'm going to say glory or bust.
Nice. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with Craig. I think do it now, and be anonymous.
Okay,
but you
Aaron, we got questions in the chat for you. Somebody's saying that their laptop can't communicate with their CNC controller.
Baltic Blades. DM me, buddy. You've got my DMs.
We're providing a hell of a service here tonight. Hell of a service.
All right, last question before that question was okay. Last question. This is the real last question. This is from Lawrence Britton, silver medalist from the South American rowing team. Silver medalist. Remember him? We broke his balls a few episodes back. He said something, and we broke his balls about something.
So he's a
If
loser.
you
Basically, he's a loser. He didn't win. He comes second. The
He's
guy's a
all
loser.
right. Don't worry about it. He's Olympic champion as far as I'm concerned. If you posted a video of you doing a dangerous thing and later found out that someone else had copied you and badly hurt themselves, would you feel responsible?
No.
No, you did this publicly. Like you did this on.
Yeah, you did a YouTube video. If you did something dangerous, or maybe you didn't think it was dangerous, or you weren't using the proper safety techniques, somebody
I've already
copied
done
you
that.
completely and they hurt themselves.
Do you guys remember my angle grinder video a while back using the drill press and the angle grinder?
Oh yeah.
I did that
But if
yesterday.
somebody does that, I'm not. They are grown ass fucking adults. They can make a bad decision for themselves. That's on them.
But would you feel responsible? It's not are you
No.
Well,
responsible?
did you
Would
tell
feel
somebody not to do it? Did you tell somebody not to do it?
I mean, I did have a disclaimer.
No,
at the
not
front of
you.
it.
I mean, in general, to answer this question, were you given the chance to say, "Don't be stupid, don't do this"? At all?
I mean, that's not really the question. The question is, you did it.
Then I wouldn't.
The
Because then I wouldn't
question
feel
is, you
guilty.
did it. Yeah. The question is, you did it, and somebody hurt themselves.
Yeah, I'd feel guilty, but what are you going to do? You know. I think anybody would feel guilty, surely, but unless
Well, I
you've
wouldn't
seen
know
those
how-
crazy Russian dudes who like climb up buildings and they're like doing handstands on the top of a building and filming themselves. That's crazy, but I'm never going to do something like that, am I? So, if it's not, I don't know, wearing safety goggles or something like that, and somebody then hurts themselves, yeah, you'd feel guilty, but you can't. You're not taking the blame for that, no.
Yeah, I want to know how serious an infraction are we talking? Is it like pole vaulting over a wood chipper, or are we talking like
Finkel and Aaron obviously don't listen to this section of the show. There's no second questions. We're just put in the situation.
I'd feel
Yeah,
guilty, but I wouldn't be stupid enough
understand it.
on a video to say, "Don't do this at home."
If you say don't do this at home, isn't it kind of like saying, I don't mean to be an asshole, and then you really are being an asshole? It's like it's an excuse for like being it. When somebody says, I don't mean to sound arrogant, they're about to say, it's like, it's time for arrogance. Or I don't mean to be an asshole, it's asshole time. If you write a disclaimer, don't try this at home, aren't you basically saying, I know that you're going to do this at home, but I don't want to take responsibility for it?
Yeah.
You know that you're not doing it. You know that it's not right. You know that somebody's going to hurt themselves, but you're just like kind of protecting yourself, right?
So we should have an honest disclaimer instead. If you're too stupid to do this safely, don't do it.
Oh, I like that disclaimer.
I think if you, in your mind, if you even think maybe someone could hurt themselves doing this, and then you say that, maybe you're in your deep, dark unconsciousness, you're acknowledging that I shouldn't be telling people how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible?
Yeah, I mean,
You're
I've
just
watched
like
stuff
looking
back.
for a little bit of.
Well, like
Sure.
I did that Instagram video a while back with my pressure chamber for casting the glow in the dark handles, and then someone contacted me in the DMs and was like, "Dude, you're gonna kill yourself. It's super dangerous." And so I posted a retraction, and then I had like 1,000 pipe fitters and engineers and stuff be like, "This is the safest thing you've ever done. Like, why are you even worried about it?"
Huh.
So I don't know. To some level, it's a perception thing too, I think.
Yeah. People are always going to be offended by something. Have you noticed our chat has now turned into like a CNC support forum all of a sudden?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Not to mention, we have to admit that Baltic Blades, who wants to get in your DM, says you don't read his DM. So apparently, you got to get back into. You've ignored all of his other questions. So I don't know.
But
I think
Aaron,
that-
sorry, I was just wondering, Aaron,
ahead.
before you go, I was just wondering, who makes the best sandpaper?
Is this when he says Indasa and then he gives me the hook?
No, not at all. Indasa, you're quite correct. Indasa. I think all five of us use Indasa Rhino Wet. And it's the best
I
stuff.
don't actually, sorry.
Oh, fucking hell. We can't put sponsors to keep happy. Jesus Christ. Rhino Wet Indasa. It's the best sandpaper out there. That's why we all use it. It saves us time, and if it's saving us time, it's saving us money. And we all know we can actually get it for you cheaper as well. If you go to TexasFarrierSupply.com and you use Knife Talk 10, you'll get 10% off your order. And they don't just do Indasa Rhino Wet. They do lots of other stuff for knife makers. So go take a look. TexasFarrierSupply.com and use Knife Talk 10. So Aaron, where do you go for your Indasa Rhino Wet?
Knife maker, Texas Farrier Supply. Is that the one?
Woohoo!
Oh, I'm back now. Wow.
There we go. We got to keep those sponsors happy, Aaron.
All right,
I've
boys.
actually-
Thanks for
I've
having me. Congratulations on 200, eh? You haven't killed each other yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Thanks for joining us, mate.
No worries. Have a great day.
Cheers.
See,
Bye.
Thanks, Aaron.
I've actually
Great
just
Aaron
fallen
Goff.
in love with a new trick for the rhino wet. I've got next to my buffer, I have a sort of a sticking out bit for sanding the blades, and it's leather on top of it. So what I've actually done is I put a piece of the 2000 grit rhino wet on top of that, and when I'm buffing and I see any residual scratch, I actually use the sort of the projecting out sanding stick that I kind of put the blades on, and I actually just rub things on it. So I actually use it like a sort of a prop to actually keep the sandpaper. So it's not just taking a bit of sandpaper and doing it by hand. It's just actually going over and using clamp down paper.
Right. Okay. So you're
it's
moving
just-
the piece instead of the.
and it's this would be a lot easier to explain with a video, but it's for the spine or for whatever else you see. It's like it's actually so much handier to sort of in the middle of buffing, there's always something that appears.
Yeah.
And just having that quick place to kind of go over. So rather than having a piece of granite with the sandpaper stuck on top of it, having a smaller piece of the leather that you can just constantly keep moving the whatever grit you're using while buffing, kind of have that little bit at hand. So it's
Nice. Abrasive Talk by Knife Talk. And if you need more abrasives,
Combat Abrasives makes the world's best abrasive belts for knife makers. Available in any size at unbelievable prices. Go take a look at combatabrasives.com and get 15% off with promo code KNIFETALK15.
15%.
Do it now.
15%. I wonder how much money we've saved our listeners over the years.
That's the next question from Mareko. I mean, he obviously he's the Price is Right man. I mean, I have no
Yeah,
idea. I
man
mean,
of the people, he knows.
does that actually work for Europe?
$1,000.
Can you get Texas Fire Supply to ship to Europe, or is that very much just the American side of things?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they would ship, but it's
the shipping is going to be very expensive.
Well,
yeah.
shipping's been very difficult at the moment in the EU because of all the new sort of harmonized tariff codes and everything else. There's so much stuff is being sent back, and it's taking months to get returned, and it's quite a nightmare at the moment.
Oh yeah. What I'm finding abrasives though, they seem to be so heavy, for what they are. If you're not ordering one or two belts, you may be ordering 30, 40 belts, and they seem it's a heavy thing to ship. So yeah, I don't know whether they do, but yeah, certainly worth checking out.
I hate to bring it back, but bringing it back to the last question about being responsible for videos, I was just looking down at the chat, and Rainy Day Forge says the new Jackass movie's coming out. And Jackass is obviously, you probably know, it's the movie where these people do these crazy stunts. And what happened was in the beginning when they were on MTV doing TV, they were lighting themselves on fire and jumping in the pools and stuff like that. And all these kids started to do it and hurt themselves. I mean, really hurt themselves. And it is interesting because in the maker community, there is so much how-to videos that we do. And there could be something that I learned, Aaron Goff, we just had on, he's one of the kings of DIY knife videos. I mean, his knife videos are some of the best there ever was. And when you watch them, especially when you watch a few of them, you do get the sense that this person is an expert and you were, following what they're doing. I can imagine that if you did do a video where like power hammer, like all this stuff that guys are doing with power hammers, you can get into such trouble with power hammers just because you're not level with the dies. Like if you're not holding your steel level to the dies, it'll just almost slingshot it up to the top, it'll slingshot it up and it'll be very, very jarring in your hands. I would imagine that a lot of people see things on these YouTube videos that are very dangerous, probably replicate them thinking, okay, well, that's what what's-his-face did. And then they get themselves in a lot of trouble.
I just don't record my stupid shit. I mean, when you true up your aluminium wheels on the belt grinder while it's running with an angle grinder, while looking in the other direction and sending a text message at the same time, you just don't record that shit.
It's quite true. Yeah. I mean, nothing. The things in the US are far more sort of litigious there, aren't they? So if you were to buy a grinder, and we'll talk in a second about which grinder you would buy.
Oh, you're gonna horn them all in.
Might as well get it all done. But if you, but no, on a serious note, do you sign like any sort of waiver or anything like that when you purchase something like that? That if you use it in the wrong way, that they're not responsible, or will they always be responsible if you do hurt yourself?
Do you know that the safety features and the guards that are always in the bottom of the box, they know you're not going to attach. As long as they're in the box, you should have put them on.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, I mean you don't get. I mean we just when you get a lawnmower, there'll be a sign on it saying don't put your hand near. Or if you're getting a power hammer, a lot of times there'll be signs saying caution, danger, but you're not signing away any rights. They could, I mean, if you're getting a brand new power hammer, you'll see a sign that says, you'll see the hand, crushed hand, and just be careful.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to makers and it isn't even, I mean, we're not even talking about the litigious parts. We're talking about like, do you feel responsible that you gave somebody advice that really kind of fucked them up? And it is something you can say, well, I don't feel responsible because they're a grown person. But, you would feel responsible to a certain degree. I mean, you could not feel responsible.
Yeah.
I did what you did.
Well, if you're giving them advice, sure. But like on my video with the angle grinder and the drill press, I was not advising anybody. I was just showing how I was cleaning up the bottom of that transition from the chisel to the tang.
But you were showing them as a tip.
No. I actually
so it was showing. I mean, you were showing it. This is how I do this.
I was just showing. I was just sharing and showing like, this is the only way I've figured out to be able to do this, and part of the reason I was doing it was in case I like fucking something snapped off and flew into my chest and I died. At least it'd be on video.
At least it'd be documented.
Okay. So you wanted to make sure everyone got to see your last few days.
Yeah. And if you want to see a video of my tip, it's on my OnlyFans site. Quiz. Okay, we're pretty. Anybody could win this. Mareko's on 8. Geoff is on 7. Fingal is on 5. Okay, this is a general knowledge, and we've got 5 questions. Anybody can still win this. It's all up for grabs. Crack and pussy.
Jesus
types
Christ!
Of what tree? Are types of what tree? Crack and pussy. Are types of what tree?
You better click us off clean. Spotify doesn't not like it.
Yeah. Number 2. Flammable air was an early name for what gas? Flammable air. When it was first discovered, this gas, they called it this for years and years and years before they come up with a proper name for it.
Dude, if you're in the chat, don't write. We're doing this. This isn't for you. This isn't for you. This is for us.
Bad boy.
So just sit
Laramie
back,
Jackson,
calm down.
how dare you, Laramie?
And just to let you know,
Dial it back.
Willow. Okay. A dump, a floater, and a wipe are terms from what sport? A dump, a floater, and a wipe are terms from what sport?
what is that fucking sport called?
That's the question. Yes, exactly. That is the whole point of this quiz. Okay, number 4. What color spacesuits do NASA space shuttle astronauts wear?
This is a loaded question, right?
No, not at all. It's what?
Isn't there in the ship or outside of the ship?
What color spacesuits did NASA space shuttle astronauts wear? What is that fucking sport?
God. So glad you're not compulsive.
Feel free. I mean, we're very close. Anybody can win this. There's only one question left. Feel free, if you need to call somebody, you can call somebody. You've all got a lifeline. If you need to, you can do that. That's fine. The last question. What name is given to the sound hole of a violin? It does have a specific name.
Everybody I know is asleep.
What name is given to the sound hole of a violin?
You said we could phone a friend.
If you need to phone a friend, I can't do it via the board here. You physically need to phone a friend yourself.
Oh,
Oh boy.
This guy called Google.
yeah. Sage. Okay, should we go with the answers?
yes.
Okay. Crack, pussy are types of what tree?
Willow.
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 Yeah. Willow.
That's a point each. Okay. 2, 3. Flammable air was an early name for what gas?
I said oxygen.
I said
I
butane.
said hydrogen.
Hydrogen. Mareko, you're storming this week.
Storming.
Hydrogen. Correct.
I had a friend. Speaking of flammable gas, who had a strong urge to light his fart,
Oh.
and I remember him having very frayed white trousers, and he stuck his legs in the air and he grabbed behind his knees. He said, "Somebody get a lighter! Get a lighter! Get a lighter!" And somebody brought a lighter right up to his asshole, and he farted, and he burnt the most perfect donut into his frayed white.
Oh my god.
Oh, white trousers too. Lovely.
Episode 200. Burning donuts in your pants. There you go.
Where are we? A dump, a floater, and a wipe are terms from what sport? Sure.
I'm
yeah.
gonna say cricket.
No.
Oh,
What's that thing where you sort of throw a sliding thing down ice and you have to use the brush to sort of like?
That's what I
Curling.
thought it was.
That would be a
Oh,
curling,
shit. I
dumps
called-
and floaters. Yeah, that would be cool. It's not though. It's not.
All right. I called it ice bowling. I didn't know.
Ice bowling. No, it is volleyball.
Makes sense.
I've never
What
heard any
color
there.
spacesuits do NASA Space Shuttle astronauts wear?
It
said
changed
grey.
because it was white, and then there's an orange connection as well to suits.
I put orange.
The answer is orange. Apparently, if it's on a shuttle, it was orange. If it was on a rocket, it was white.
Hmm.
I may be wrong, but that's what Google has told me.
All right, well,
Mareko is killing this. I'm going to give one to Fingal because he did mention orange.
It's so they could find you. Wasn't that the thing? They
I
changed
don't
it
know.
to orange so you're easily located if you're kind of, or there's something like that.
Ah, right. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. What name is given to the sound hole of a violin? Jeff.
I said an orifice. It wasn't very romantic.
It's actually
I think
it's actually ruder than that. Mareko.
The
I got
bunghole.
nothing.
No. Fingal.
I had a friend who's a dial-a friend, but he's either asleep or really stoned. So I was going to just like not do it, but I have no name.
Francesco Mucci. He's normally in the chat. He doesn't seem to be here today, but he makes violins. So there we go. Joel Shepherd has it. It's the F hole.
Get out of here. That's what
It's
it's
the
called?
F hole. They look like an F,
Yeah.
don't they? It looks like an F.
Right,
It's an
they
F
do.
hole. It's
I
an
didn't
F hole.
realize it was called
Jeez
that.
Louise.
11, 8,
200th
7.
episode.
And we end with an F hole. So, Mareko, you win. Congratulations. With
Congratulations.
11 points.
I know a lot of useless
Easy.
shit.
Jeff on 8. And Fingal coming up the rear with 7.
Okay.
In the F hole.
11, 8, 7. Okay, that was the final round, by the way. That was the final round. Okay, should we actually do maybe a knife-related question? We've had a bunch this week.
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
All these grinders that go on their side, there's so many grinders in their designs, they go on the side. What the fuck do you do with a grinder when it's on its side? I've never turned 2 of my grinders that go to the side. I've never turned the fuckers over.
Spines and
10 years,
things like
you
that.
know, it can flip. And I was so excited they could do it. And
Yeah.
I think they've actually rusted, seized straight at this stage.
Yeah.
Has anybody
I-
ever turned theirs to the side?
all the time. I have one constantly on its side. For things like cleaning up
For profiling?
spines when it's running
You can
down
do
that
that.
way.
You can do that the other way around.
You can do, but if you're using a table, you know it's nice and you've got gravity on your side, and you know it's perfectly flat, so you're not going to get any wobbles. I know you could do it that way with a table as well, but it's sort of difficult. That's why I use it anyway.
So that's one.
That's
I
the main
use it-
reason I use cleaning up profiles, I suppose.
I use it. I'm more comfortable doing serrations when it's up and down, and then I can kind of make a rest, and then it's a little bit easier to make the serrations when it's like that. I hate to interrupt, but Francesco Mucci, who is a luthier, did respond to the F-hole story, and he did say he is a true luthier. This is not horseshit. This is a real luthier who said somebody called our shop once asking if we could clean his F-holes. They were very dirty. They were very dirty, he said. They said. This is a true story. So it was a luthier. It was a luthier talk.
Yeah, these violin players, I can imagine. Where were we? Yes, leaning your grinder horizontally. Yeah, like you said, serrations as well. So I've got one always set up, and I use it quite regularly. They're very useful, very useful. If I wanted to buy a grinder that could do that could turn on its side, where would I go?
I would suggest you go to Broadback Ironworks. Broadbackironworks.com. They build a badass grinder that is made by makers for makers. It turns horizontally. You can use it vertically. You lay it down, grind on it real hard. Great for trimming those edges, those profiles. And I actually I have a new tool arm that I just it's a collaborative design between me and them. It's the Mareko Deep Platen. And it's got 4.5 inches from the front of the belt to where the tool arm, kind of like the back of the throat. So it's kind of a deep throat in the tool arm. For really high contouring in sculpting handles and all that kind of fun stuff. And they changed up their promo codes that are available for Knife Talk listeners. So we used to have Knife Talk 10. They've gone through and made a whole bunch of changes in how they structure their business and the way that their grinders are priced. And so they've actually dropped the price of their grinders, $250. And so now the promo code is just Knife Talk, and that will give you a free upgrade when you buy a full kit. Cool. It'll give you a free upgrade from the standard platen to the Mareko Deep Platen, which features, so it's got that deep throat, it's got the 2-inch it's 2-inch idle wheel at the top and a 4-inch contact wheel at the bottom. It's really great. I actually did a video last week kind of demoing how you can use that. The various ways that you can use that grinder, and it's just a super versatile grinder tool arm that you can use in various different ways. And so again, if you go to broadbackironworks.com and use promo code Knife Talk, you can get a free upgrade to the Mareko Deep Platen. And if you are listening right now, as of Friday, they have a sale that's going on through the 12th. So today's the 10th. So you got until Sunday. They are doing B Iron 10 to save 10% on all their stuff. And so so if you want to get your order in right now for the Mareko Deep Platen and you just need the arm, then use the B Iron 10 to save yourself 10% at broadbackironworks.com.
Nice. For Mareko's Deep Throat.
Yeah,
we wonder why we've got 98.7% male listenership to this show. I'm starting to realize why.
They like to tickle.
Yeah. Let's do a question then. Let's do a real question. Moonshine Metalworks. Steve, worst coffee in the business. Hey, cuties, if you could spend a week working with any professional kitchen or with any chef, where would you go or who would you work with? Nice question.
Wow.
I have this. I'd go to Francis Malman.
Fuck you. I was going to say Francis Malman.
What, you guys are going to sling mud around? Is that what he does?
What?
That's what he does. He's like covers everything in mud and cooks it in mud.
Nah,
Is that what he does?
nah. I've not seen mud, but I think it's the place, the situation, the time, and the scale. I actually have cooked with him already, but to do it in that side of the world would be amazing.
Well, how have you already cooked with him? What's the story?
He was cooking at a festival here in Ireland, and that's when I first met him. But the interesting thing is that the whole process of like just the amount of time, like we were talking about cooking, doing things through the night, like that's the whole process. Before a festival, those gigs, you're starting at 3:00 in the morning to get fires going and doing the whole cooking process. But it's the pace and the whole process was fascinating about doing it with him. I think that you can do some of those things a lot quicker, but it's the incremental sort of time and everything that you put into it that just makes everything so much better at the end. But yeah, that would be to go over and cook in Patagonia or do something like that for a gig, or in Uruguay, or one of his amazing.
Did you know there's more Welsh speakers in Patagonia than there is in Wales? Fun fact,
Really?
kids. Yes, a lot of them went over, and the language is flourishing over there, whereas in Wales it's not flourishing as well, as shall we say. Yeah, fun facts. Geoff, who are you picking?
I'm actually going to go back in time and finish my my time in the kitchen of Oriole. I only worked there 3 nights. My business partner now was the sous chef, and the crew there. I ended up going out for drinks with all of them, and they were just an incredible group of people who were incredibly talented, and it was very, very disciplined. It was an incredibly amazing experience to be in there 3 nights. And that I wish I had kind of grown in there a little bit longer. It would have been a lot of fun. And I know all those guys now, like all those cooks. I know them all now, and there was a degree of this interesting brotherhood there. And I kind of wish I'd been back for a while.
I was asked something recently, and I've gotten to this thing where I would sooner go and cook at an event now than probably sit down and eat at it. If it was one of those really good gigs. I'd no longer have the patience to sit down and go through the whole sort of multiple tastings and the whole thing. If it's one of those events that's like a sort of a live fire or whatever kind of type gig that you're cooking at, that you actually can sort of sneak and eat a bit along the way.
Yeah,
I have to admit, it's so much more fun being part of something. I think the sitting down and having to behave thing doesn't really work for me anymore. It's going to misbehave.
Yeah.
In the background.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a difficult one. Spend a week working in any professional kitchen. I think I'm going to go with Heston Blumenthal, simply because I've spent sort of a day in their kitchens with them, and we didn't scratch the surface of what they do in what is basically a very small facility they have there. And it's constantly rated, one of the best restaurants in the world, the Fat Duck there. Certainly 10 years ago it was. And yeah, they do things differently. And that's their whole thing, don't think about how people would normally do it. How could we elevate something, or how could we, So I think for a week, I think that would be pretty cool and eye-opening. Mareko, sorry. I think you said the same as Fingal, didn't you?
Yeah, same as Fingal.
Yeah.
And I was first really introduced to Francis Malman's work through Chef's Table, which is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Where they do a vignette each episode with a specific chef. And I was just like, from like Fingal said, being able to go down to South America and actually do the cooking down there with him in that environment, in the whole setting. Like, it's not just the cooking, it's the entire experience. It just really looks like something.
I'd love the time to adjust to
otherworldly,
that pace as well. The
Right.
important thing is like literally have a couple of days to get into that pace of cooking, because
Sure.
it's the psychology, like the whole head state of the process is the.
I'm going to turn this round slightly and say we don't need to answer now. We'll answer at the end of the show. Maybe if we have we have a secret after show. Maybe we could answer there. So 3 guests at your ultimate dinner party. Where would you eat, and who would your 3 guests be? So just make a note, and we'll come back to that later. Okay, next question. Do you want to read the next one, Jeff?
Yes. This one comes from Butch Sullivan. He says, okay, I got a real problem. I ordered a billet of Damascus from a small company that I ordered some knife-related things from regularly. I cut out and heat treated the billet, and it had some serious defects. I emailed the company and sent pictures. They responded with no problem. Just send it back the billet and we'll get you a replacement. I did that, and it's been since June. The supplier told me that they would get me a new billet directly from the source, and I haven't received anything, and have emailed the original company multiple times. Any suggestion on what I should do? I like this small company, but shouldn't they refund me? It's been months.
Yeah, wow. I feel like,
Sorry.
yeah.
So go on, Mareko.
I was just gonna say, at this point, as the company, if I was that company who had sold that steel, and for whatever reason couldn't get it replaced, then they should have tried to offer another option, which could have been a refund, where that maker could have then gone and bought a billet somewhere else to get this to get the project done, because potentially, maybe it's a custom order and is waiting on this. That would be incredibly frustrating. So that might be the next option, is just to ask for a refund of that material so that you can go find it somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, Butch doesn't say where he is or where the company is. I've had a lot of issues recently with shipping, and as Fingal said earlier, things can take months at the moment. So, if you've communicated with them and they haven't come up with a response, maybe you could say, well, can I have my money back? And obviously they should do the right thing and do that. But if it's a case of you have just been waiting in the mail for the replacement and there hasn't been any communication between you guys, maybe it's on its way. If you're in Europe, things can be a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, if you're the company and somebody reaches out and says, look, I haven't received it, could I have a refund? You need to give the refund. That's what you need to do. Yeah.
I think if you ever want anything to go away, if you ever want hassles and grief, take the money out of the equation, solve the money issue. But that's if you've proven that something was faulty and you're going to have to do something about it anyway. It's not like you were waiting for it to come back. If something had to come back to the original place to then refund, that's, I think, the complication, isn't it?
Yeah, that's always a weird one, that, isn't it? Send it back and we'll refund you. I mean, refund and then, wait for it to come back.
We have to do it probably with knives, do we? I mean, in many cases, if something's wrong with the knife, you have to ask for the knife to kind of be sent back to you. I mean, that's the few cases I've had. I do ask for the knife to come back and I'll resolve the problem. And that's the slowest part of the whole process. But, it's how you handle it, of course, keeps it sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think?
The interesting thing about this is because, we also, as knife makers, we deal with small companies. We're not dealing with monster companies. So this is most likely a small company that deals with all sorts of knife supplies, and they have a trusted Damascus maker who's making Damascus they sell. Obviously, he reaches out to the company that he bought it from, and then the company's got to reach out to the Damascus maker. Based on COVID problems, I mean, some shops were shut down, just because of, COVID or whatever, or maybe they just can't get it together. Maybe they were too small to get it together. The problem lies with the customer service from the main place. What the main place that he bought it from should have done was saying, here's the situation. It might take a little bit of time before our Damascus guy can make some new stuff that's not flawed, because if it was my company and I had a batch of Damascus from this small company and there were flaws, I'm recalling all of it. I'm recalling all of it because I don't want to be, going back and forth. So maybe he's got a stack of shit that he doesn't know if it's any good or not. He calls the guy up and says, look, this Damascus is no good. You got to either do something about it. And he said, well, you're going to have to wait. I'm making Damascus for other people. The problem is the store that he bought it from should have been very clear and open, instead of just like, he can wait. Don't worry. Just keep your mouth shut and we'll try to figure this out. That's the biggest problem with customer service, is we don't really think about, there's not clarity. There's not, that importance of being honest with your customers. Subsequently, I didn't wait for him for this. Like, he didn't wait. I sent him a message, say, get your fucking money back. And he sent me a message back saying, I got the refund. I got the refund completely. But it really was interesting because we're dealing with the funny thing about what we do as small businesses and dealing with other small businesses that are small businesses. A lot of places that start these businesses were knife makers, and they say, you know what? I know this guy needs G10. Let me start to bring in G10. This guy needs whatever. So all of a sudden you become this small business without the history of any type of customer service, how you want to be treated. And then you just treat people like garbage. And then you're surprised when people are upset, you know?
I've got a solution for this,
ahead.
Butch. Especially if you're looking for stainless Damascus, just go straight to the source. Just go straight to the main people. Dharma Steel. If you're looking for stainless Damascus, you just need to go to Dharma Steel. It's simple as that. We can get you a discount, of course, because you're a listener of the show. If you put in Knife Talk 10 when you check out at Dharma Steel, they'll give you 10% off too. So yeah, get yourself some proper Damascus from Dharma Steel. And I mean, Fingal's here. He uses this stuff daily.
Did you see they recently did they sort of did a comparisons? They took two patterns and they kept giving people which is your favorite. And it was actually kind of fascinating across the board seeing the ratio, because they put up the results as you're selecting it. And what is amazing about how the world has, there's something for everybody out there. You know, it was all 50-50 along the way. Like everybody has their own passion towards. There was no clear winner. There was nothing that was 99% this pattern over another. I think that's something that makes our industry very interesting.
Yeah. It is crazy how one person's
one person's
favorite could be
Fafnir is
hated
another
by
person's Bjorkman's twist.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, we always talk about this. You know, it's particularly with knives. You know, there's only so many things you can do with something that's sharp and pointy, but that just goes to show how tastes can be so different too. And I mean, you know, look at our individual styles. That I think all four of us have a specific style actually, which we talk about this so many times. Which you could maybe pinpoint our knives from other knives from whatever. But it just goes to show you everybody has different tastes, and we're not here to tell people, you know, what's right or what's wrong. Most of it is a matter of taste, and you know, it's subjective. It's art, isn't it, Jeff?
No,
that was a long lead in. That was. I didn't know where I was going,
was a long
but
lead-in.
we got there in the end.
Well, especially when you're posting it, isn't that right, Greg?
When you're posting it, it's always art. Yes, exactly. Yeah. How about that knife maker whiteboard? Mareko trolled me.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I will say I had to block somebody this week, and maybe it's Michael Douglas actually. And if that's
the real
that
Michael
was
Douglas.
you, Michael, then you can fuck off. So this guy, somebody messaged me. Somebody
is that how you used to
messaged
do your
me.
patterns?
This is how I do customer service. No. so I talked about the knife maker's whiteboard either last week or the week before that, and somebody was having, for whatever
So it was a
reason,
Facebook group.
which is
It's
a Facebook group.
Okay.
Are you aware? Is Jeff?
No, I'm
Knife
not aware of
Maker-
any of it.
I thought I saw you a
you've
long
never
time ago. You used to do your patterns on a whiteboard, didn't you? You explained the drawings, or did you do something like on paper? Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
I used to do that, but so knife maker whiteboard is a Facebook group where a lot of people from around the world engage, ask questions, try to help each other out. And for some reason, somebody who DM'd me, I can't remember who it was exactly right now, they couldn't figure it out. I took pictures, I tried to help them. There were a lot of messages back and forth, and then they kept bugging my ass because they couldn't find it and figure it out, and they thought I was full of shit. And so I was like, look, I don't know what to do for you. And then they're like basically saying like, you have to tell me, you have to help, you got to fix this for me. I'm like, you're having the problem, I don't know what to tell you. I took them, I sent screenshots, all kinds of shit. And it was too much. So I was like, fucking, I'm done with this. And I blocked them. I was like, I'm done with this conversation.
This is
it's
why
not
you
my
can't
fault. You
do
can't
these
figure
videos.
this shit out.
Michael, come here. If you're still watching, come here. Mareko's a busy man. He tries to help out as much as he can, but he's not responsible for your work. He tries to help as much. He's not responsible. Maybe take the time to Mareko gets this a lot when people say, can you show me exactly how to do something? And he's like, well, I've done it before. You go and find it. And they then say, well, can you tell me what it is? He's a busy man. Michael, come here, Michael.
At least throw in a little gif every so often.
Yeah. Speak nicely to people and they can help you maybe. But it's not your work isn't Mareko's. He's got his own response. He's got kids as well. He's got so many responsibilities, Michael. Just back off a little. We'll be fine. Okay,
Good
we
radio
are
right there. That's my
hour
kind of
and
radio
35
right there.
minutes in. Should we call it a show? 200 episodes. Over 1,200,000 seconds of glorious Knife Talk content. It's all there for your perusal to go back and listen to all the old episodes. I've spoken to Geoff individually. I've spoken to Fingal individually. I've spoken to Mareko individually. There's shows for everybody out there. Go back and listen to them all. I won't say at knifetalk.net because the website is down. But if you're a subscriber, you can go back and you can see all the old episodes. You can see them all. So go ahead and do that. And here's to the next 200. Cheers. Okay, I think that's a show.
This show is brought to you by The Makery, the podcast network for makers.
Got a little
like
ranty
that
there
last
towards
part.
the end. I'm not sure we finished
know
on the
that.
best.
That was
That was the high there.
that was my kind of that was my kind of radio right there. That was my kind of
I got
radio.
hot under the collar. So I just looked through my blocked accounts because you can do that, and it was him.
Yes, he's just confirmed.
Here's the
I
he's
just
still
asked for the
here.
number.
What's the
blocked.
present count? What's the present count on your block list?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, it's probably like 100 at least.
See,
Wow.
here's the problem, and we get it a lot with all these. I'm constantly getting messages from people who will listen to the podcast and say, "What did you just say?" Or "What was the thing you were talking about?" And it's like, must I give you the timestamp of everything? We didn't start this in the beginning. You know, if this was something that we thought, let's spend more time on, we would have had little show notes to try to jog people's memories, but it still wouldn't make a difference.
No.
There's this strange sense that because you're out there, you're supposed to respond to them. I'll tell you one thing that I got recently, which fucking annoyed the shit out of me, and I fell for it.
Let's go big
Guy
screen on
write-
Geoff for this. He's shaking his
Alright,
finger and everything.
Guy writes me a message and he says, "I know you won't read this, but can you identify this knife for me? It has," and there was no picture, there was no nothing. It has the number 75223 and it has a curved blade on it. Can you tell me what it is? I'm sure you're not going to respond to this. And I'm looking at this message being like, you motherfucker, you didn't even say please. There was nothing there. And I can't possibly know this. So I'm like, do I respond or do I help him? So I decided to do both. Respond with nothing. I wrote nope. I wrote
Nope
fucking
on a rope.
nope. I said nope. And he says, "Do you know anybody who would know?" And I wrote nope. And that was it. But it was just like it was so obnoxious. It was so obnoxious. And I think that we all get this. And maybe we're being dicks right now. And that's just the after show dick time.
Do you remember
But
the
it's
good
like-
old days where we used to fight for every listener? And we even wrote a
Oh,
song
yeah.
at one point for a listener just to make sure we didn't lose a listener.
We
Our
wrote,
attitudes may have changed a bit.
we
Yeah.
wrote a song. I can vault.
Yeah.
That was Schwabi. Schwabi got written a song.
Dominic
No,
Schwab.
listen. Here's the funny thing is I love radio, and scolding the audience was day one shit. So I have no problem scolding the audience.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Sorry.
There's no such thing as a stupid answer, but there's such a thing as a stupid question. Stupid question, but such a thing as a stupid answer.
Yeah, my problem is when it's like when somebody wants you to do it all for them. Like and also kind of talk to you like you owe it to them. Like you need to stop whatever you're doing, take time out of your day to do this for me. And it's something simple.
Have you ever
Like,
thought of actually
it's
slipping in a
called
little
knife
here?
makers.
You should do a little like 75 euros an hour and set a little like a pasted in
Coaching?
sort of process on actually like like these are the rates for me to help you from the whole process.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
really interesting because it would just stop everything. Just paste that shit in and just see what happens.
But I think
there's-
the thing
there's-
is, we've all, we've had help from other knife makers, and certainly for me, that's why I started this whole show, because I was there to pick other people's brains. And I think all four of us, we're quite open with helping people, online, or whether it's via the show or whatever. But it's when people don't sort of help themselves, they feel as if they're not going to put in that little bit of effort.
Yeah.
And quite often they expect you to put in more effort than they're going to help them. And it's this weird sort
I
of
might be
thing.
bringing this on myself, but I actually don't get aggro. I don't get like really stupid questions. I don't get sort of things like that. I feel like I have a good following base that kind of, if they are asking, there's kind of a connection there. And I know there are people out there that can really bug the shit out of you. But I think there's, I haven't had to, but the one thing is I probably stay on top of the messages that come in. I'm always chipping away at it a little bit at a time. And I think there's a daunting point where you suddenly see the motherload of fucking messages. And if that ever builds up into a mountain, then you're in this crazy place. What the hell do you do?
Yeah.
And but I think literally, Mareko, you like, there is this thing where people would probably pay for a consultancy kind of type thing, but it's that's probably OnlyFans. Bring back OnlyFans into
Shirtless
think
Mareko giving advice.
for an extra $25 in a dick pic or whatever.
Only 25. Wow.
I know I got the
That's a-
figure wrong, but
what a
you see how bad
bargain.
I am at that already.
Hey, I'm basing that number off volume.
Per
No,
inch.
it's, I mean,
You charge by the inch.
Oh shit! I believe that all of it has to do with millennials. I find that I'm obsessed with the generational the similar characteristics of generations, and I believe that millennials and Generation Z, not Generation Z, but the millennials especially, they're very entitled, and there's this sense that, especially considering their parents were baby boomers, who are the ultimate worst parents of all time, baby boomers as a generation. And this is an American thing too. I don't know if
the ones that would never say no.
Well, just a background. I have this theory that the greatest generation, which is an American thing, World War II, people who grew up in the Depression and fought in World War II were lottery winners. When after World War II, all these great opportunities came, and they were like lottery winners, and they didn't know how to parent. They didn't know how to share generational wealth. They didn't know how to be parents. So they raised these entitled babies, which is the baby boomers. And then they were shitty parents because they had shitty parents. And then they raised Generation X, who was these, we didn't get the kind of money that we didn't get the kind of money that you have. And I'm just looking at a fucking message.
I've just seen it.
One of the people.
It's the best.
I stopped completely.
It's the best.
I stopped completely. I had to stop completely, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this podcast, we have someone in the feed that his name's Jago Ward, and he write "How do knife." So the greatest. Stop me cold.
That's a
The bottom
t-shirt.
line
That's
is-
a t-shirt.
Most people who are millennials, especially, they're entitled, and they feel like they deserve things without having to
I
work
disagree.
hard for
I
it.
disagree there. I think I'd hate to be a teenager growing up now. I think I had a better time. And I think maybe my parents had a better time than me, as growing up as a teenager. And I saw this a tweet earlier today, actually, and somebody wrote, kids these days, he said, I worked hard to save up $3,000 to buy my 4-bedroom house. They should also work hard to save their $600,000 for a 1-bedroom studio. And it's that sort of, kids have different pressures these days. And what,
Like the fact that everybody walks around with a camera.
yeah, exactly. There's
in their
that.
pocket.
Yeah, there's that. But
That
I
is
think
some intimidating shit. Like,
think-
I saw a picture the other day, or one of those documentaries of a concert, and everybody was there listening to the music. And then years later, there's everybody's
it's
in
just
the
all
concert
cameras.
holding the camera up, watching the thing. Like,
Yeah.
that is a whole different mindset.
yeah.
Oh, I
But
would
I
love
think
to just be
people
thrown back
took-
to that way of thinking and that time.
I think people took for granted and it was standard across. I wouldn't say standard, but if you worked hard back in the 70s, especially in the UK, if you worked hard back in the 70s, you could buy a house. You could, you could have a decent, comfortable life. And I don't think that's the case anymore for a lot of sort of early 20s, people working hard. They could never afford. There's basically not enough houses. So the prices are skyrocketing. So they can't. There's so many. I mean, I've got a younger brother. Thankfully, he's just bought his first house. But a lot of his friends as well. It's just impossible for them to get on that sort of property ladder. And I think it was just a given back in the 70s and 80s. And we can go into the whole sort of council houses and Thatcher selling off the council house and all these things that happened. But I think to say that millennials, that they don't know sort of hard work and they expect everything. I think it's the opposite. I think they've got less opportunity than previous generations. For a certain level of
there's people making themselves famous because everybody has a camera or whatever else. There's people who can benefit from it. There's people, it all is where you win, you lose, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying working hard and physically working hard. There's a lot of it is mental. A lot of it is the feeling that being a millennial and being entitlement doesn't mean it necessarily money. Entitlement is more about closer to being narcissistic, where you think, what about me? Yeah. Don't I deserve something? And it isn't. I'm not talking about the money.
Isn't modesty? Modesty is the most beautiful thing in the right hands. And just that it's the total opposite. I'm totally I have no time for anybody who feels like something is due to them.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, there's an issue with people like this guy Michael Douglas asking and asking and asking and asking. And there's people who listen to this podcast who get into my DMs. If you looked at my DMs, it's asking for something and then asking again and then asking for something else and me being polite, and then they keep on asking for something more and more and more, and it's just like it does become. We sound like a bunch of fucking assholes. I sound like an asshole right now, but at the same time, it's like.
I am.
But at the same time, it's like it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
To take. We don't give enough free stuff. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. We should actually. Do you know? Can we turn this shit around? I mean,
go ahead.
Next time somebody asks for something, maybe we should ask for something. Do you know what could you?
Then you get involved.
No, I'm not. Get the money out of it. I'm just thinking we should probably do. Can you get 3 sky hooks and a glass hammer? And if you can, get something impossible, and then I'll answer your question.
Yeah. But I think maybe a lot of that is due to millennials thinking that it's because a lot of things have become worthless now. That music, for example, music is pretty much disposable now, and people have everything at their fingertips. So they think, well, why shouldn't I have that at my fingertips too? It's just everything's around them. Everything is immediate. Whereas back, when I was a kid, and even when Geoff was a kid, black and white days, nothing was that immediate. Everything took time.
It took ages to download porn.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
Well, look at you.
So we were talking about dinner guests. So one place you'd go for dinner, the ultimate dinner party, where would you go and who would those guests be?
How many guests?
I feel like the last time Fingal was on the show, you asked this question.
Yeah.
Really?
I felt there's something.
I think about this question a lot. I really do think about this
good dinner.
A lot. Yeah, I'm always thinking about dinner. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, my answers always change. So
well, I'll bring you 3 guys here for dinner.
Oh, cheap shot. But we're on our way.
Exactly.
So the price, guys, you could fly today for $579 today. You can bring milk. Milk is cheap. Or you could even come in a Tesla.
Exactly. Warm from a cow.
Geoff's thinking hard.
I have an answer. I'm thinking about the third person, but
yeah.
Go ahead. What's your answer, guys?
I don't know. I'm thinking now because you guys have had a chance to think, and I'll give me a second.
I mean, I'm gonna take the. Honestly, I would love to. I've met Geoff in person, and spent time with him, and spent
So
a
he's off the
horrible
list.
spent a horrible hungover morning eating brunch with him at Blade Show. But I haven't met or spent time. Well, I've digitally spent time with you guys, and I think that would be great to get together with you guys.
Screw this.
that'd
I
be a
don't
lot
want
of
to. I don't want to have dinner with you guys. I want to cook with you guys.
There we
Yeah.
go.
I'm sorry. I just feel like reverse it around. It's a whole different equation. I think that I don't know what it is. I feel I connect more with people given that challenge of actually sort of achieving something and then sitting down to it afterwards. I think that it's much. Now, forgive me. I do love to go out and eat, and I think that to go to Noma or to go to somewhere amazing like Hunter Gather Cook over in the UK or do anything like that would be an amazing event and occasion, and to invite Josh home and Buddha and whoever else is your guest. But I think that if you really want to kind of have that bonding kind of connection and with something is to set yourself a challenge of something that you actually wouldn't be able to cook alone by yourself. Give yourself some sort of challenge, and bring somebody else to the equation who can bring their knowledge base to it, and just make a meal that you'll all absolutely remember because it took all of you to actually achieve that, and then sit down to it, and the fuck ups are the fuck ups and the wonderful things, and make that. I think that is a superior night in so many ways for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, I've been lucky enough, and I'm sure we all have. We've all been lucky enough to go to, amazing places to eat and things like that. But those aren't necessarily the memories that stick with you. Sometimes it can be a sloppy meal wherever. But if you're with the right people, on all the stars align, everybody's in the right mood, that can be like the best time, So, yeah, it's always difficult when, this question, it's a common question, who would you have for this dinner? It's always difficult because it's never going to live up to that expectation anyway.
There's always been
Please go ahead.
I always went to cook with friends. There's two very close friends, Ivan Whelan and Ted Burner, and we always kind of get together.
Shout out to Ivan and Ted.
Ivan and Ted absolutely would deserve a shout out. But these guys, there's an event called the Ring Dinner. And the Ring Dinner is where actually a bunch of chefs kind of get together, and they actually cook in the center, and the ring around it is actually the tables, and everybody sits down and actually eats the tables around it becomes the ring, and inside is where the food is all made and done. And it's the most amazing meal because there's the shucking of the oysters, there's whatever else is the cooking of the bone marrow, the yada yada, and everything happens as part of the sort of the theater and the process in the middle. But the crack in the middle is actually quite brilliant, and the venue and the event. So again, it's that element of I mean, you're the best thing to do on your day off when nothing's happening is to watch somebody else work.
Yeah. Geoff, I can see you thinking hard about this one. I'm curious about your answer to this.
I like what Fingal said because the thing is, you can come up with these. I was thinking of Jimi Hendrix and these people that you don't know, but you wouldn't if you pick famous people. You eat famous people that you've never met before. You don't necessarily know how it's going to be. There's a restaurant that I grew up in. It's no longer there. It used to be in Midtown. It was the first Japanese restaurant I ever went to, and it was crazy. And they still don't have restaurants like this where it was like this 3-tiered. The inside was tiers, and the top was a yakitori guy. The middle was the tempura guy, and the bottom was the sushi guy. And there was different layers. And then you could sit around the bar, and then they'd have these long paddles, and they'd bring you the food. So you could order. It was all different types of Japanese food. It was crazy. And they knew me because my dad used to take me there, and they used to, talk about the Yankees. And it was just everything was really great. And it was one of my favorite restaurants growing up because so there might as well be a basketball team right now. They have an epic collapse. P.S. And I would have to pick. I would have to pick to eat with. I would have to pick my business partner Tony, my good friend Nico, and then my college roommate Jamie. And the reason why is because I've had really good times with them where we're laughing. I've actually had dinner with Nico and Tony once, and it was a blast. And all I can think of is I've already know that we've established this great relationship for a good dinner and a conversation, and it would be better than the expectations of what's it like eating with Henry, with Jimi Hendrix and Buddha. It's like, I mean, you're gonna be nervous.
You're gonna say
I don't want to be nervous.
I
was-
want
no, I was
to
gonna
eat
say-
off
I was
of a
gonna say-
naked Buddha with Jimi Hendrix in a sushi place. That would be pretty good.
What I was saying, I wasn't gonna say Henry Kissinger. I was gonna say who knows. But it isn't that you. Oh, do you want to be with people that you're going to learn from, or do you want to actually have a good time?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Agreed. Should we call it a day?
200 episodes, and that's how it ends.
But people
got
are only
something.
halfway through their knives. People right now are grinding knives and only halfway through their knives. And what are they going to do for the next? I mean, there's only so much you
Sure.
can listen to the same old playlists and stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, Mareko,
Oh,
you
I
were
was
about
gonna
to
say
say something. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to actually now apologize. I'm going to try to own up. I want to apologize to Michael Douglas.
Mickey, is Mickey D still here?
So
He
I've
is.
been, while you guys have been chatting, I've been digging around and trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with this. This is how much I do normally in conversation, like when I'm messaging with people. So over the last 10 minutes, I've been listening, but I've also been fucking trying to figure out what's going on with this Knife Maker's whiteboard. I finally had to ask somebody while we're in here recording the episode. And it's a hidden group. I had no idea it's a hidden group because it's not even my group. And he asked for, this is what I think put me over the edge the other day when I decided to block him, is that he asked me for an invite. I was like, all right, well, what the fuck's this guy's name? It's Douglas Knives. What's his name? I go to his profile page. His name's not even on the profile page. So I'm just like, all right, this is fucking stupid. I'm over this. I go to try to invite him now. I still can't invite him because it's not my page. And two, we're not connected on Facebook. So I don't know what to tell you, Michael. That's where we're at. But I will apologize for all this shit I put you through.
You're gonna unblock him.
I do, actually. But don't fucking annoy me again.
And there you go.
There we go.
Unblocked.
It's
I
all
just did it.
rounded.
We've been talking about before we go. We've got our general update of Jeff's health because Jeff's trying to basically Jeff's insurance sounds. Do you live in Cabot Cove, Jeff? Because your insurance sounds as if it's through the roof. So I'm wondering what's been going on this week. What checks have you had done, both internally, externally? What's been going on?
Well, I had a very. This isn't enough time. We're gonna have to do this. This is gonna have to give the old cliffhanger, I guess. You know. But I have a funny
Give
story.
away my secret.
I have a funny story, and I had to. And I guess it's gonna have to wait till 201.
Well,
Can I just say one thing?
500 and something euro ticket. This is the one-way ticket. I could have put on the AI glove and checked you out there, buddy.
Are we ever gonna admit that we did like 10 5-minute episodes? Does that make this still the 200th episode? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, well, you know,
We were going to
we'll probably-
revolutionize podcasting with that. Remember? I
for a
remember having that
5-minute
phone call.
Their 5-minute
Jeff,
podcast.
seriously now, everybody is really concerned about your health because you talk about it every week, and you're obviously going through a lot of checks. So what's going on?
Dude, I'm healthy as a horse.
Keep going.
So, I mean, I went to.
That's Jeff. I miss doing that so much each week. I miss it so much. That's the show. Thank everybody for listening. This was episode 200. We will be back next week. Maybe not on Friday, but obviously on a Monday. The show's going out every Monday, as it always has done for the last 4 years, I believe. So thank you all for listening. And Fingal, thank you very much for joining us on
Thank you
the
for having
special
me.
episode. You and your microphone's Merkel has been greatly
My
appreciated.
my Merkel, my furry Merkel.
Merkel, I said. Then I said Merkel.
You miss her already, do you?
Right, should we let Jeff back in? There we go.
No.
He's back.
No, you shouldn't let me back. And I was like ready to go home. I was like, fucking thank God. I should do this more often. Pick me up
Yes.
early. I get home
Putting
early.
him
You
at
gotta
the
start
kids'
talking about
table.
your health very early in the episode. And get, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
2001, 201. We're gonna work it out.
What are you pushing for? I'm going to do a blatant plug for something of mine this week. So let's start with Mareko. What are you pushing this week? Have you got your your knives be available? The sort of the lower cost knives.
Yeah, I have a email list that they're going to go out to first, but if they don't get picked up there, they are going to be up on my secondary email list, and then possibly up on Instagram in my store.
Cool.
Hopefully they're
Okay.
gone by then.
Cool. If you're listening on Monday morning, these knives will now be available. These are the folder, the H folder, called the H because that was my grandfather's, how he was known, and this is basically a replica of the original knife that I was given, but it's just a bit more beefy for a modern day. These are available. Remember, Knife Talk 10 might get you 10% off. The first 20 to buy will get a numbered edition as well. So these are available Monday morning. Fingal, what have you got going on this week?
There's been a lot of food side staff on holidays and, fixing pasteurizers and doing all kinds of things. Do you know what? It's all good. I have to admit, I've had a really good summer, and I've been so grateful to everybody who's helped me get through the busy period that we've had. And I'm just looking forward to making more knives and doing the things during the quieter period. I'm actually looking to a little nice kind of quiet spell now.
Nice.
If it happens.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. Jeff, what's on the books this week?
Books on this week is I'm very close to being all caught up, very close, and I'm working on that, and I'm very excited. I'm going to be at Maker Camp the 8th through the 11th of October, and I'm going to bring merch with me. So it'll be a one-time deal. So bring some cash if you're going to get some merch. So I'll have a couple things. So, and then I don't really, that's it.
Cool. Okay. That's a show. High five from a distance. We shall see you next week. Bye for now.